today because I have a cold. Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. Drum roll, please. Can we recognize that she's here early today? Drum roll. Look who's early today. Not quite 9 o'clock. I'm getting there. I am doing good. How are you? I'm getting there. See? Working towards that 9-ish time. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Hello, everyone. Hi, Mr. Joseph. How are you? It has been, I think someone from the north came down to the south and brought the snow with them and the ice and the rain and the cold. Tori, we don't have this kind of rainy, icy, cold, freezing weather in the south. We just don't. We don't. So, whoever you are that came from New York or Midwest, there's always a time for visitors to leave. It's been freaking cold. Hello from Florida. It's been ridiculously cold. It's like, okay, I'm not one to put my heat really high, but I had to this evening. And yesterday I was like, I'm trying to not raise my power bill, but then I got kids. I can't let them freeze, children's services money. Auntie will go if he heat left back for long. Exactly. Come on, be going back. Nigerian English. Come and be going. Come and then be going. Just go back. Like wherever you are. We don't need your cold here. No. And keep in mind, February is just starting. Like this is day 2 of February. And February is usually the coldest month of the winter season. So it's like, yeah. But anyway, she's here early. Hi, everyone. How's everybody's week been? Tomorrow is Friday, end of the week. The one thing we can all say is, thank God we're still alive and well. Still breathing. If you still have breath, he's not done with us yet. Ohio is normally cold. Like y'all can't complain. I mean, y'all have snow. So you probably are like living in the freezer or something. Because if we are cold as it is in Alabama, Mississippi area, 𝒂𝒐𝒓𝒌𝒊𝒈𝒓. Hello, Indian wife, Hawaii. 𝒂𝒐𝒓𝒌𝒊𝒈𝒓 anywhere in the Midwest anytime soon. I'll see y'all in the summertime. Hello, Mr. Ashley. How are you? Hi, everyone. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale Samuel. Baba Samuel. Yeah. I'm an immigration attorney, practicing immigration in all 50 states, meaning my office is in Alabama, but I can represent you. It doesn't matter what state you live in. So come on in, let's talk immigration. And as usual, please follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Subscribe to YouTube channel. On all 4 platforms, if you put in at Olale Immigration, then I don't think there's anyone else using that name, but if there is, then that's a counterfeit. But come on in, everybody. Let's talk immigration. And say hello when you're coming in. Tell me how cold it is in your area. So I actually was thinking that, okay, maybe this weekend, because my kids, I share custody of my kids with their dad. My oldest is 18, so he can stay wherever he chooses to be. But I have a 12-year-old. And every other, I have primary custody of my kids, but every other weekend they go to their dad. So this weekend they're going to their dad's place. And I try to take a break whenever, because I'm always working. Whatever they're away, I was like, okay, take 24 hours to just, let this rest. So it's like, okay, we have a small airport here. I just go down and it goes to Houston every day. I'm like, okay, let me just even go down to Houston. That was my plan. Single digits in Chicago, hell no. Ain't doing it. I lived in that city for 3 years. I know what it feels like. I ain't doing it. No. It's really, yeah. It's been raining nonstop since yesterday. So I was like, okay, let me go to Houston for the weekend. That was the plan a week ago. And then, I was like, okay, it's snowing in Texas. I know. No, 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 no. For a girl who doesn't care to wear a lot of clothes, everybody must mura lini gan. Ẹ máa rò pé mo fẹ́ lọ sí Alaska ni, like on top wedding. I mean, I'm going to cut this out because my kid, I use to teach his old phone for TikTok. But anyway, if you need to contact our office, the number is 334. Let's bring our lay office in Baltimore. See, as much as I'd love to be in big cities, those big cities are like cold, except like in Texas. If you're taking me away from the South, I I don't know what's going to, no, to relocate, no. Mm-mm. But if you need to contact our office, the number is 334-341-4475. You can also text us to that number, same number on WhatsApp. Visit our website at @𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Once again, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If you put in 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Immigration, then you will be able to see our page, a lot of information, a lot of content on my page. And that's why I charge for consultation, because I think I give a whole lot of information. That's why my hair is gray. But let's talk immigration. So I put up a post earlier on, and I put that up myself because I have someone who helps me with posts. I've probably driven people who work. I don't say people work for me. I say they work with me because, they're just my team members. I couldn't do any of this without them. But I probably have driven her crazy. A lot of times I feel she's going to quit. Like, wala Naija woman equal. Like, I can little you. But, thank God for my team members. I really, really, listen, if you can work with me, you can work with anybody. I'm not that bad, but my mom used to say, the mom says that 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I think 𝒂𝒂𝒏 means what? What's 𝒂𝒂𝒏? Lion, I think. Elephant. One of the two. Somebody help me. I think it's lion. Is my mom here? She's at 63. That's what she says. Like, no. I'm talking about baby. Oh, my latte. She said, if you ever get married again, that man has to come complete. Like, he's got to be someone who is so secure about himself, because Equin's lion, okay. Because if he's not a secure person, lion, okay, perfect. No, lion is 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 What is Equin then? Somebody, okay, y'all come, whatever it is. I think it means something strong. That man has to come complete. Like, he's got to be. So the lion is 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Okay, so what is Equin? I've heard that, something. But anyway, that he's got to go complete. He's got to be very secure in his own self, because you drive somebody crazy. Who knows? I can tell you I ain't going to be cooking for you, though. Like, maybe once a week, because I'm a good cook, but I just don't care to cook. Anyway, let's talk immigration. So this evening, I put a post, as I was saying, and asking what topics you want to talk about. And this was the one that had the most comments on it, or suggestions, I would say. So, divorce after green card interview. That's what we're talking about tonight, and we get to questions later. So we'll make it real quick. Divorce after green card interview. This comes up during consultations with clients or potential clients, and this comes up a lot as far as when we have calls in the office or messages. Divorce after green card interview. So basically, what does this mean? If you are, and I'm talking of a regular marriage-based case now, right? If you file, or when your spouse files your I-130 for you, the I-130 can be approved even before your green card application is approved. But one of the things that is required is, obviously, you have to prove good faith. When you get married, You have to show that you live together. It's a good faith marriage and you are still in marital union at the time that your green card application is approved. So a lot of people think once my I-130 has been approved, even if we get divorced, you've had your green card interview, but it's still pending, and you get divorced, and USCIS approves your green card application after the divorce has occurred because your I-130 has been approved. What happens? Can you go ahead? Does that make you a green card holder and you're fine and you just wait for 5 years before you can file for citizenship? How does that work? So if you get divorced, even after an I-130 has been approved, but before your green card application has been approved, your that application by law must be denied. Let me say that again. I'm not talking about, everything. Obviously, if your I-130 and I-45 are still pending, the alien relative petition and green card application are both still pending, there's no approval on that. Marriage is ended. There's no basis for it. Let's go a step further. If you have an I-130 that's already been approved, you go for your interview, I-130 is approved, because you can't actually have an I-130 approved, and then they can still schedule you and your spouse for an I-45 interview together. And if after you've had that interview, your case is still yet to be approved, adjudicated upon, but the marriage doesn't work out, and then you and your spouse, the petitioner, now have to get divorced, can you still go ahead, or are you required to tell USCIS that the marriage is ended, so that's the end of the case? Or because you've had an interview, you can just move forward, and if they approve your green card, then you're good to go and all that. The law is, if a divorce occurs in that marriage, the marriage that is the basis of your green card application, if a divorce happens prior to your green card application being approved, prior to you becoming a green card holder, immediate relative, whatever the case may be, then that application cannot and should not be approved. Actually, if a divorce happens before your green card application is approved, your I-130, even if it has been approved, has to be automatically revoked, because the basis for which that I-130 was approved and your pending I-45 green card application is no longer valid. And so by law, it is an automatic revocation of your I-130. And obviously, your I-45 will not be approved. So someone asked me, I think it was about a week ago or thereabout, and someone else asked me today, how will USCIS know? Well, it's not about how will they know. It's about, do you intend to become a citizen down the road? And keep in mind, the fact that they approve something does not mean they cannot rescind your green card. Yes, USCIS can actually file or send you a notice to rescind your permanent residency status. If they, and it doesn't matter, as long as you're not a citizen yet. If down the road they figure out that they should not have approved your green card application and you were not eligible to become a permanent resident at the time your case was approved, they have the right to send you a notice to rescind your status. So the last thing you want to do is to end up in that kind of situation, number one. Number two, if you intend to become a citizen, the date, even if you're going to wait, because obviously when the divorce has happened, you have to wait for 5 years. So so you're going to wait for 5 years. So you're saying, okay, you're not applying for citizenship based on marital union. Granted. However, good moral character is part of the requirements for you to become a citizen. Good moral character mandates that if you were not eligible to become a green card holder, then you should have notified USCIS. So if they calculate and see when you became a green card holder that you were already divorced, because you have to indicate in your application if you're married, if you're not married, when the marriage ended, and you have to put your dates, right? You've got to put your supporting documents. So if a date is showing up that you were already divorced before your green card was approved, not only will you get to a naturalization application interview and be told that you lack good moral character, but that could be a basis for USCIS initiating removal proceedings against you because you were never entitled to the green card to start with. So when you think of, okay, how about let you know, like who's gonna tell them? That there's this thing on TikTok. How would they know? Who's gonna know? Or something? No, it doesn't work with USCIS. That could work with something else. It doesn't work with USCIS. Those people know everything. Like if you have a baby and you think because that baby is a citizen, you ain't gonna put the baby's name on you. Those people will tell you when you get to the interview, like, oh, by the way, how is your baby doing? What the 𝒑𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, there is a naming ceremony and all that. They know. Oh, you cannot hear me on Instagram? Really? Hello? On Instagram, you cannot hear me? Why would that be? Can someone let me know? Yes, no? Okay, you need to, whoever says you can't hear me, that's Tammy Ryan. So you got to, I don't know what's going on with you, with your device. So you've got to, thank you. You've got to inform USCIS of what's going on. So what is the effect of a divorce after a green card interview has occurred, but your green card is still pending, and now that marriage is over, technically you're not eligible, you're no longer eligible to become a green card holder through that marriage, and you are required to let USCIS know, and automatically the I-130, if it has been approved prior to that, it's an automatic revocation, and that's just the end. The last thing you want to do is to put yourself in a position where you are deemed to be, to misrepresent or to be fraudulent or, to risk actually being referred to immigration court, because nobody wants to be removed proceedings, So that's that on that. If you are in such a situation, so then the next question is, what will be your option? Okay. That's where it comes into play, where you have to now, if you don't have an attorney in your case, then you have to consult with an attorney. Because the first question I would want to know, or the first question I would have for someone who is going through a divorce or just got divorced is, tell me about the marriage. Why did the divorce happen? If there's any inclination as to whether there was the divorce can be linked to abuse in any way, then in that situation, you may actually qualify for a VAWA case, right? So you need to know what your options are. And if there was no abuse in the marriage, then that's just the end. That's just the truth about that. It's just, but know what your options are. Many more people are not getting divorced before a green card is issued, but sometimes it happens. And if it's happening because your petition is threatening you, it's happening because they're using the status to manipulate you, they want to harm you, or they want to show you that they're in control. Those are signs that you may be a victim of abuse and you may be eligible to have a self-petition on your own. That's all she wrote. The more you know. Okay, people. Really short, like I said. Okay, let me go to questions. Okay. Yeah, this time I get my glasses. Hold on, people. Because let's see. Alrighty. Oh, I can see. Good evening, Miss Camille. How are you? We need to relocate you to California. That's one. It's been a while I've been in California. It's been a long time. That's one place I should go. I'm telling you. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I appreciate that. But isn't it always hot? Like you're all like very close to the desert. You're probably thinking, what does she want? Where do you really want to go? I'm Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold. Where would that be? Everywhere is hot during the summer. Not Alaska. I can't be cold all the time. Yeah. Good evening, Miss Wallace. How are you? Okay. After VAWA approval, can a green card application be expedited? You can request USCIs to expedite anything. The question is it going to be, oh, Nevada? No, hell no. Excuse my French, but I love Las Vegas, but that's about it. California is not always hot. Okay. But y'all don't even have jackets there. You can't expedite anything with USCIs. The question is, do you have basis to expedite it? So you can always ask to expedite anything, but you must have grounds for whatever request you're asking them, whatever it is you're asking them to do. Jamoy, Philip, I hope I haven't murdered your name. What timeline are you seeing for VA after you receive the receipt notice? What timeline for what? For it to be approved? VA is taking anywhere from 2.5 years to 3.5 years. And that's just the timeline that USCIS puts on that. Now, that timeline can be shorter if you have been, if you've been a beneficiary of an I-130 that was filed on your behalf by your abuser, if one was ever filed, and because you can take advantage of the priority dates of that I-130 and and have it transferred to your VA case, so that pushes you up in line. Even if the I-130, as long as you were the beneficiary of the I-130, even if the I-130 was denied or withdrawn, you can still request that they transfer the priority date on that petition to your VA case. Okay, let's see. That's the same question I just answered. Okay. All right, let's go to TikTok. Okay, let's see. Yeah, TikTok. Am I okay. We'll be filing for my wife real soon. That's good. Let's see. Good evening. Good evening to you as well. With a dropped criminal case, can you get a problem with it? What do you mean by dropped? So if you file an N-400, what do you mean by dropped? In the sense of it was not in the sense of not prosecuted or dismissed, because there's a difference between not prosecution or dismissal. But if you were never convicted of it, or you never pled, it was no guilty plea, there was no conviction, it was just an arrest that never went anywhere, then it wouldn't have any effect generally. Disclaimer: general information, not in specific to anyone's case. Ghanaian wife, your buddy is still in Ghana. It is. Can you believe how cold it is? Because she's in Tuscaloosa. She's like an hour away from the place where my office is. Can you believe how cold it is in Alabama? Like seriously, my office is in Alabama. Demopolis is a small town. Didn't even ask me how I got there. Hello from Arkansas. How are you? You scream that your kids to turn on the heater. It is cold. It is cold. I have cat eyes. I know. I got my eyes from my dad. It's a true story. Growing up, my younger brother, he used to make fun of me because like especially when we had an argument, because I have 3 siblings, so all 3 of my siblings have my mother's eyes, so they have really big eyes, but not really big, but they are. But I have my dad's eye. I look so much like my dad, but he's got chinko eyes. And whenever I made my brother mad, he will squint his eyes real small, and then he was like, "I'm just making sure if you can see. Are your eyes open?" I'm like, ha 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 ha, very funny. Yeah. You're very sad today. What happened? Aquabe light. We have everybody's got those days. I'm telling you. Looking for the tutorial on your hair. I always say I'm going to do it one of these days, but y'all don't want to see me doing my hair. It's pitiful. You will feel so sorry for me because my hair is 4C. I have it's type 4C hair, and it's as kinky as you can get. Thank God for it's as natural as you can get. So it's my kids are like, do you want to just cut the hair? They're just like, oh, like, yeah. I will one of I don't know, and I see my hair is drenched in conditioner and all that. If not, I will not be able to will manipulate in any way. Never knew you were from Egypt. Well, my mother is an Egypt woman, so I guess technically I've got Egypt blood in me. Um, after interview, Noid for I-485 and filed 601, who will make a decision? The 601, when you send it in, since you have the interview with your field office, once you file it, they will forward a copy of that to the adjudicating officer at the field office, because that's the person who, and that's usually how it goes. They'll tell you at the interview you need a waiver, so it will be forwarded to that adjudicating officer to make the final decision about whether or not you're going to be granted that waiver. Again, anyway, 44. It was 30. I think by the time I left the office, it was 36 or something crazy. It's like, why? Why? Thanks for your answer a couple weeks ago. I got my green card. Glory be to God. Congratulations. That is awesome. That's always a great, great feeling. I'm telling you. Congratulations. And that is Delia PB226 on TikTok. We're happy for you. Been raining nonstop in Houston. Same here as well. Please, we're expecting you. I was actually going to come to Houston this weekend for real. Like I was literally, because it's just, I don't think it's even up to an hour and a half from the airport here. Because that's a connecting city for United Airlines here. But no, not doing it. Not doing it. Okay, feels like -8 in Nebraska. Hell no. Happy New Month to you as well. Let's see. Is it advisable to contact a lawyer before getting married to your citizen spouse or after? Whether or not to marry is not the question. I mean, you can decide, the lawyer can decide for you if you should marry your spouse or spouse to be. But if you need to know whether or not your spouse would have all the required documents and evidence to be able to file for you, such as do they make enough income, or would you need a joint sponsor? If you need to know all of that before you get married, then you can. I have a lot of couples who actually consult with me before they get married. And then, once they get married, they just reach out and say, hey, we're ready to start. But at least they have the information they need if they need to still work in something. Like, I'm warned that if you consult with me before you get married, it works for me, because then I can tell you, hey, don't wait till you get married to start getting your evidence together, because your good faith is that you had the intention to spend life together at the inception of your marriage. Inception of your marriage, what leads to that is you planning towards that marriage. So whatever your plans are, it starts before you actually get married. So that helps to you add that to your evidence. You're going cake tasting, you're planning your honeymoon as for a set date, or you're visiting family, or everyone is doing a video chat together. You have screenshots of all of that. Those are part of things that make your case stronger. So I hope that answers your question. Hey, Steve Boyd. Are you still on? Say hello if you're still on. So Steve Boyd is, I call him my work husband. I hope his wife is not listening, because she doesn't care for me anyway. But if you are in Alabama, if you are in something, 17th Judicial Circuit, we do criminal cases together. And listen, the one person in my life that I think he pisses me the hell off sometimes, but but he can deal with me, and yeah, that's my buddy right there. Hey Steve, what are you doing on TikTok? You're glad you signed on. Don't say anything stupid now, because yeah. I'm a complete man for you. Okay. Oh Lord, save yourself the trouble. I'm telling you. Thank you, Miss Donna. I appreciate that. Okay, I already answered that question. So, what if someone learns that their spouse was not genuine and only wanted the green card? I can't answer that question because I actually represent people who want green cards. So, but if you suspect that, I don't know. Yeah. Can I apply for naturalization after 5 years of my asylum approval or green card date? If you have to be a green card holder for 5 years. So your asylum approval is not part of when you become a green card holder. So the 5 years is you must be you have your green card, you must be a permanent resident for 5 years prior to applying for naturalization. Okay, let's see. I-751 pending after interview. U.S. partner filed divorce. We have a 2-year-old son. What are my options? So your option will probably be to convert to a divorce-based ground. And that's a good question because people would say, well, you've had your interview. So if the divorce happens, so in your case, if the divorce happens before your 10-year green card is granted, then you are required to let USCIS know and convert to a divorce waiver ground. If the divorce does not happen, because you already, so it's completely different from what we talked about earlier. This person already has a green card. And if that divorce does not, if it's still separation or other, nothing stops them from approving your case as long as there is no final order of divorce before your 10-year green card is granted. I hope that answers your question. If your divorce isn't filed on abuse, can you still do vow? If you have any evidence of abuse in your marriage, you can. Most states do not have in the divorce decree or divorce judgment that it was based on abuse. A lot of states don't have that. And USCIS understands that there's some states where, or situations where the parties, for instance, in our state, in the state of Alabama, if you do an uncontested answer waiver divorce, there is no ground. It's an irretrievable breakdown. Y'all just were tired of each other. You just hate each other's guts, or you don't, or you're just done. There's nothing listed because of abuse and all that. However, when you get a divorce, you have a 2-year window to file for vow, and you must also make a connection between the divorce and the abuse. So the abuse has to be at least part of why you got divorced. And that can be established in your affidavit, witness affidavit, psychological evaluation report. Those would be examples of how you can establish that. Okay, let's see. Twice agent through Emma says interview is way. What to expect? How soon? I can't tell you how soon. That's USCIS. I'm in Nigeria. My girlfriend is in the US. How can I come to America and marry her? She can file for a fiancé visa on your behalf, so she can consult with a lawyer and see what the options are. She can come down and visit you in Nigeria, get married, and file a spousal visa for you. Is it advisable to work unauthorized with your social security number after you file for asylum and waiting for EAD? I'm a lawyer. You're asking me if it's advisable to work unauthorized. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think that's about it. Can I fast track my asylum interview? You can always ask. You can ask for USCIS to expedite anything, as long as you have a good reason. So yes, you can ask the asylum office that has jurisdiction over your case to expedite your interview, but you must have there are very specific grounds by which you can ask for them to expedite your asylum case. However, it doesn't mean it's going to be granted. And even when they don't grant it, because it's been 50-50 for me, really. And when they do not grant it, they don't even tell you a reason why it wasn't granted. Can a permanent resident petition for a spouse that already lives in the U.S.? Yes. But the question really is, can that spouse who is in the U.S. adjust their status, meaning get their green card without having to leave? If that spouse is being a green card holder, if your spouse is in the U.S. and they've overstayed, they will not be able to get their green card without having to leave the country until you become a citizen. Which divorce aids vow, contested or non-contested, it doesn't really matter. It's not about the divorce. I mean, the reason you got divorced, if it's based on abuse, can help your vow case, but a lot of divorce cases are not, or decrees do not involve abuse grounds, because most people would not even agree to that. Most of those abusers would not agree to that. Okay, let's go to Instagram. Okay, let's see. Sally_3, Ola from Houston. Ola. Hello, Mr. Rashid. How are you? Tutuola Ahmed. How are you? How are you? Hello from Florida. Hi, everybody. Come on, me going. I'm telling you. Okay. I act really mature. How old am I? I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I'm 44. I've always been, so growing up, unless you're a family member, a lot of people thought I was the oldest child. My mom can verify that. A lot of people thought I was my mother's first child, because I've always assumed a leadership role. And so I've always been, I wouldn't say acting more older than my age, but I've just always assumed a leadership role, and my personality just also, because I'm a Leo baby, I'm an August baby. I think part of that is we tend to be very feisty and very, some say controlling. I don't think I am. Well, it depends on who you ask. But hey, I don't know. Is that a compliment? I don't know. All right. Let's keep it moving. Can I use a declaration of common law marriage to file for green card? I'm not really sure what you mean by declaration of common law marriage. I'm aware of customary marriage in Nigeria and in most African countries. And customary marriage is, just an affidavit of you saying that you were married, photographs to back that up. But it would depend on what because if you go in the reciprocity schedule, it will tell you what documents you can use to file for petitions based on what the U.S. Department of State has already sanctioned or approved as acceptable proof of A, B, C, D, whatever the case may be. How long does it take them to send your work permit after you send in your medical? That one has nothing to do with the other. Let's see. Oh, so 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is tiger. Okay. Something. One of the 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is lion, tiger. Hey, one of the two. So that's a good one. Let's see. What's the time? 9:47. Gotta go. Okay. That's the same question. That's the same question. Happy New Year, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 201. Happy New Year to you as well. Still a new year. Can an I-45 be denied while the I-130 is still pending? Yes, there are many, many reasons why that can happen. You don't have a properly completed I-864. They sent you an RFE you didn't respond to. Your petitioner doesn't make enough to support the I-864 affidavit of support. That's yeah, but yes, it can, and you can always refile. If you have a basis to reopen, then you can do that as well. How long does it take to get a work permit approved? Depends on what the basis is. I'm seeing in my firm that the asylum-based work permits that we're filing for first-time EAD applicants for asylum C8, those are the fastest that I'm seeing for some reason. But it can take anywhere from 2 months to 9 months or a year. There's no rhyme or reason with USCIS. Is it possible for embassy to deny immigrant visa to U.S. citizen spouse? Yes. How long does it take USCIS to approve I-45 after that is approved? It's left to USCIS, so I can answer that question. Well, the one thing I can say about that is if USCIS decides, because for the most part, many more applicants are not going to be scheduled for an interview for the 45. So once Vermont Service Center approves your case, they pack up everything, and then they send everything to the National Benefit Center. The National Benefit Center will now look through your case and decide, okay, show my interview for you, or we're just going to say, you know what, we ain't going to waste time with this person. Does the person have medicals? And if you sent it over 2 years ago, they'll probably send you an RFE sending your medical. Once you get the RFE for a medical, that is indication that your interview is going to be waived. And every single one that we've received that has been VAL related, when we get the RFE for the medical, well, VAL and employment based. Once we get RFE for, and once we send it in, I'm telling you, within 30 days, the 45 is approved. That's what I am saying in my firm. I can't operate, generally. So if the interview is going to be waived, then it stops at the National NBC. If NBC decides, okay, this person needs to be scheduled for an interview, then they transfer your file to the field office that has jurisdiction over where you live. And then they will schedule an interview for you. That's the process usually after the VAL petition has been approved. Can you use a priority date from I-751 to a VAL application? No. Let's see. My I-130 was approved March 2020. I applied for VAL February 2022, but I didn't do any transfer. I submitted a copy. So technically, if you submit a copy, that the adjudicating officer should use that and see that that's you basically asking them to, or putting them on notice that you've been the beneficiary of an I-130 in the past that has a priority date of March 2020. And going by that, your case should be close to being adjudicated. So if you put in on the processing times, if you put in your I-130 priority date, and if it shows that your case is not outside the more processing time, then you can contact them and reiterate that you were the beneficiary of an I-130 that was approved. And so based on the calculation, then your case should be adjudicated at this time. I have a question regarding domestic violence. Can I file for VAL now despite I got abused by my spouse 3 years ago? Doesn't matter how long ago the abuse was. What matters is if you or if you still satisfy the requirements of a VAWA case. You physically present, were you abused? Do you have good moral character? Do you have a qualified relationship? What is your spouse a citizen or green card holder? What else am I missing out? Is that all? I think so. I think. Yeah, or something. So it doesn't matter how long ago that was. When would the fees go up? Hopefully not anytime soon, but if you qualify for anything now, you want to file it, because keep in mind, people, E-Town saw 1,225 for I-45, 765, I-3, I-131 combo. When the fees go up, that trio, filing the trio application together, is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, 2,008 something, more than double. So, just saying. Let's see. When is the best time to call your office? My office is open 8:30 to 5 p.m. But if you need to talk about your case, you would have to schedule a proper paid consultation. Green card was approved. How long does it take for them to send it to you? I can't answer that. That is a question for USCIS. If a couple divorced and the spouse is on F2, what will happen to the F2 holder? That person will technically start accruing on lawful presence. So they would have to leave, because the only reason why they are on the F2 is because they are a derivative beneficiary of the F1 visa holder. So once the divorce happened, that terminates that eligibility ground. So yeah. What's next after EAD was reduced? Case closed. That's not a question I can answer. That's just not a standalone thing that happens. Can I file for stepchildren back in Africa? If you're eligible, if you're an eligible petitioner, then you should be able to do that. Thank you, Inside Life. I appreciate that. Let's see. If a person files for VAWA when there's a pending minor stepchild I-130 case, okay, so what's the question? Let me see if you can complete your question before I leave. Let me go back to Facebook. What other thing are you supposed to do after you file for VAWA and still haven't heard from USCIS? What are you waiting to hear from them? That's the question. Please keep it. It's a good identity. Prehistory of your marriage. I don't know what Mr. Joseph is talking about. I probably missed something. Let me see. What was he talking about? Mr. Joseph, what are you talking? What did I say a whole lot of stuff. I forgot what I said. You will need to allow the $ for contribution for your education and service. Thank you. I mean, see, that's why I don't do free consultation in at the office. Today's my daughter's birthday. Oh wow, she turns 12. She says she need a shout out from you. Her name is Jayla, aka Jellybean. Happy 12th birthday, Jayla. Everybody says happy birthday to Jayla. If you're Miss Wallace is on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, please say happy birthday to Jayla, aka Jellybean. She's 12. My baby is 12. So today is February 2nd. Tell her I said happy birthday, and I hope she wants to be a lawyer one day. Because girl lawyers, we're fierce. And Freddie says happy greetings. Okay, that's for me. Okay. But everybody says happy birthday. Happy birthday to her. Tell her that I should send her a gift. What does she like? Ms. Wallace, what does she like? Email me and let me know what she likes. How long does it take to open a PD case in court in regards to close that case if your VAWA case is filed? I don't understand your question. So if I understand what you're asking, Nazima, you're asking because you have a case in immigration court, but you filed for VAWA and you want to request prosecutorial discretion to terminate proceedings in court based on your pending VAWA. Is that what you're asking? Let me know if that's what you're asking. That's what makes sense to me. Okay. See, I used to be an adjunct professor. I was an adjunct professor for business law for 4 years, 5 years. And the way I remember my students used to say that my class, they really enjoyed my class because I'm the kind of person that I have to be able to rephrase and explain the question to myself. Because if I can explain it to myself in another way, then I can explain better to somebody else. And that makes sense. It's not, simplifying it. It's just, if you don't understand, you cannot express. That's the way I tell my kids to. You've got to understand it. Tell me in your own words what you understand. So that's the way my brain works. Just to make sure that, okay, is that what you're saying? So I would suggest that wait till you get your prima facie determination, or if you've already gotten that, then use that to, because you have a much stronger case when you have a prima facie determination. You won't have a much stronger ground to request that determinate, because now you have an alternative, and that's what I've done. God knows how many cases, and so that's what I would suggest for you to do. Rather than just because you have filed for VAWA, you can try on that, but it's just you have a better chance if once you get the prima facie determination. Okay, girl layer is a good, but man layer run the show though. In my state, in the state of Alabama, I think we have I don't know if Steve is still on, 17,000 lawyers or thereabout. And I think out of that it's less than 3,000 women, or less than 5,000 or something. Then the black lawyers are like less than 2,000. So I am double minority. But I own my own. Like, I'll go to town with anybody. And Steve would tell you that I don't back down for nobody. And if don't care how old you are, like, I'll respect you. But if you want to treat me like I'm a little girl, now you've lost all the respect. Now we're going to go head to head. Yeah. My I-130 was approved and I'm divorced, but I have a baby now. Can this affect my I-45? As long as you haven't remarried, having a child should not. She says, thank you. She says a teddy bear. Okay. Send me an email, Miss Creasy, or send me a DM. You're going to have to help me get it. But I will send her. Say, everybody, yeah, pretty says happy birthday. It's just, I don't have a daughter, so I always live vicariously through other people. I think it's a blessing sometimes, because God has a sense of humor. If I had a daughter, I can guarantee you she would have my personality, and that's not going to be good. Two of us in the same household is not going to be good. Okay. It's not going to be good. But anyway, all right, people, thank you for joining me. And I can see a lot of questions. So I think next live on Tuesday, most likely it's going to be our quest, because I think every 2 or 3 lives, I try to do 1 whole hour of questions and answers. So Tuesday, God willing, we will take questions. Doesn't mean that Alabama license legal practice covers all the 50 states. No. If immigration, you need only 1 state license to practice immigration in any state. So in my case, I'm licensed in New York and Alabama. So I can use any of those 2 licenses to practice immigration law. It doesn't matter where my office is located physically. But Outside of anything that is federal practice, say for instance, criminal defense, I can only do criminal defense in the states of Alabama and New York, because criminal defense is a state specific area of practice. So if it's bankruptcy is another thing that is federal. Trademark is federal. So federal practice, as long as you're licensed in one state. Anything else that is not federal, then you're limited to practice in your state. Yes, Facebook is fine, Miss Wallace. All right. So it's a new month. Thank you, Norris. It's a new month, people. It's a month of February. The marriage is 3 years, can I file for a 10 years green card and citizenship together or differently? It's not about the marriage. It's about how long you've been a green card holder. This is a new month. I think I'll post yesterday was favored. It's a favored month. It's a field month, and it's February. So we're all hoping and believing that God is going to give us favor. We're going to be filled with testimonies this month. And February will be our best month yet to date. March is going to be better. April is going to be even greater. But I pray and I believe that all of us, as we go before the throne of grace each and every day, that we seek his mercy, we seek his guidance, we seek his favor, we seek his blessings and his abundance. And I just believe that whenever, I am one who, I can tell you, what this is what the law says. This is what is going to happen, because that's what man has written, right? But the Bible says, whose report will you believe? And so I tell my clients, hey, this is what it is. But I am very aware that God has the final say in every single thing we do in life. There's no one that is above the word and the breath of God. So I pray February brings us many joy, many blessings, many favors, and even he would elevate us even in the presence of our enemies. I will all come together and return all the glory to God. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have